Estongo, Carolyn McNac mat Joseph Karo. Bristow Mafatsan Manaza Zula Didon. Ubuna Gawa. Hari Amaniti Yahlema Man Uhubuna Handoes. Zazut Kozo Zabuzi Ruhwen. Zabuza Zatski Zafki. Zogo Zapkin Malabogi Azazula Diro Mundoezen Mazogo Zapgi Magayat Amidalgi Hukunoa Dutsin Family wa that Zogo Hanguzat Abugi Adiro Zogo Zapkiron Hayoid Hayoi Mazogo Mueron Man Doba Hayoi Moi man lum hiadiro Zabuzi rohwen An mamuzi Hukula mar mumbera hayat Istio maga mazugo abuga Man abuga diro Mazugo ma Nihalas diwa Guksagaruma Marinzugo Madari doemats Maninni zakket man imiganan mahluhle zakket man muin man abugi adiro muwen hiruri huriwa uzirun doezen hayun uziman in halwi muedon ya hiruri mau arihoyatiwa zugu uzigodoemats en mahiruri hurina Kazapi mizaga Hirori hayoi intaki hayoi Nizagi doemats Man hirori homa halwa abega gandon Man humberoma Gazapin Sabuya gideemats Haram dakhiska mau Dakhiska utskoron doezen ma Hiya hayoi box window ge huza Moi uziron Humberanak nizaknuat Dolo ziuat Mazogonwa hatki Sabak lagironga Moi hai fitta Man saboya giri masmau Dakhisko ziova Nak hirori huriwa Fatskinado uzagiga Moi miza giri mas Mundo ezen hayuara gittezat Stuit Inga muksagi gari gon haram Stuit naget alakit ma der dakhis goa lidafit Nagit azawi gari di gon agit zeiro Mundo ezen man abugia diro magaya lui arihoyatiwa uzigoron Zogozimo uvawa uzigoron Zogozi boyas not Yumutski bires Kazap bires Fitan Abi anlut Abi hanina butski Imbuhi andon Buzakait Zogozi la aldi Haram Dihoyati ozi gorongar Dak Yumutski ron Ma kulgini hawa Zabuza Ma Galgawa mana hazadizet mizit ha finiziron man mui golgi nak yumotskina mui man halari stak hoyani de mats mundo ezen zaya gozironga yanak sahitskawa mau uzi goron yumotskinuat In uzira delguzi, uidoemats, mundo ezen, fitarat, akkubani, fully, nagiri, isti mihkanguzi des, stibungun huiweri dezen, anda muya gihteza godoemats, andat humbet, wakira uzet, Jogores, Jugolis kam magen hoji video emats, Jugolis karun loezen, anda ligot hi waket, ajahunizen, man muit fulido emats bolobos kozo, haram, jabuja, nagin, salo makwaiga ya handoe, maknuat, Zizakabira boyetske tsimbui mwana wax magandon. Mundo ezen abia ma ironwa saduh kironwa uji go doge zinwa. Zinho boya gahis abiyes magandon. Azakabi andon. Mundo ezen gavanagamo hubi andon. Dafulo bires man mizit limakwai fulin. Uwa wufka abugi bi fatsele gido emats mun hangil agithezaya salo sugi nas aspaladi mats muhwen ivolitsi jabuza nuhletsin humbi manat mundo ezen muya zegitheziro uvuni legayadi jabuzek dohwen zatskegi umagat fully mungaro adi kunagise zairo muero na imbona yage hayuma so habita de zulege imbona yaga iri haram mungu nagise zairo stazago lakomo uhnuat iron tlahu boya handoe magandon mo zizakabira boyet gezi andon mana biya gits magandon Bobuzirat, Jogun Taklegen, Bobuzamana Zakabian dot that Stazago Lako, Ustunga, Mazinoma, this Hobohi, Man, Simani heads, Iduemats, Zabuza, Simani heads Kanizandon. Here on me is it Siha Simani heads it Sama Kambuhen. Hajmi zahi gezen nak imgoma des nisnumat mahilokwa hai saklaguzi uzidi mats nisira mares nisandot stimido ematsen en yosamak yokof kitsi hamaganun le hilokwa hajmi zahi gezen mari gostuezen agithes kameru ismak magit stimuna iron man muahi yet togi rok mahilokwa in simayok kuf keido emats en muai azad zuleido anda isti stimif kide zui anda muai azagifrezag azulaido. And what I was saying was when I was growing up my grandparents, my mom and dad, and it was like my aunt. There was like 2 or 3 families living in that one house. And the house was just like a long house. Then it kind of like a T shape, what I was doing like this. This part was like the kitchen, and there was just one straight room, and there were like beds that was lined up. And I remember that's how we grew up. And my aunt and my grandma always did the cooking and stuff. And they never had, at that one time point, they never had a refrigerator, but they had, like what I said, like a box window where it was just like a big window, but it had like a screen on it. And that's where they would put like their chicken. It was wrapped in the butcher's paper, and it was wrapped up in there, so they would leave it out there on the window. And sometimes I always wonder how come it didn't spoil, or how come nothing didn't come up and try to get it, because it was just a screen. But then when they did get the ice box, it's not the ice box that you would see today. It was just probably about this tall, and it had maybe like an opening and an opening on top. And a long time ago, they used to buy a big block of ice that was this big, and they would put it in that refrigerator to keep stuff cold, and that's how they would keep most of their stuff cold, or they would use it. I remember we always had a pick, because they always pick at it too, and that's how they wanted like iced tea or something, and that's what they would always pick at the ice, because back then we didn't really drink pop. All we had was water or tea, and that's, that's kind of like how I grew up, and that's how I remember, almost like a school, because the beds were lined up, and there wasn't no TV. We didn't have no TV, so when got dark, there wasn't nothing else left to do but just go to bed. And then when daytime, we'd be out playing like all day, and well, like I said, the house didn't have electricity. It didn't have a bathroom either. If we wanted to go bathroom, we would tell our mom to go with us, and she'd go with us. And whether it was cold, nighttime, we'd have to go outside to the outhouse, and it didn't have electricity. So my grandpa always had oil lamps, because I remember he always get newspaper and always cleaning them lampshade part, the glass part, and he'd always buy that kerosene and fill it up, and that's how we had our light, because like I said, we didn't have electricity. And when he'd go fishing and stuff, we'd always ask him, we want to go fishing, and he'd say, well, y'all come on then, and he would tell us, go look for some worms or them grasshoppers, and we would go look for them, and we'd tell him, I said, we don't have no fishing pole, and he said, that's all right. He goes, we'll find one along the way, and he did. When we was going, he would cut like 4 of them for us, and we had these old little tree branches we used for fishing, and we'd sit there along the waters along with him, and we'd sit there and fish. And I remember that one time we caught so many fish. He went back and cleaned them all, and he cooked them, and we ate them. And just like I was saying, even Christmas time, he'd say, well, I'm going to go look for a tree. We said, well, we want to go with you. And he goes, well, y'all come on. But he'd tell us to just put on our coat and dress warmly, so we'd go with them. And we'd go, Aziz, Igana Halwile, Giron, Manazimizi, Hubei, Man Azinatis Hubuidimas. And what I was saying, that there'd be a big old hill, and we would climb way up there with them, and we would find our tree, and we'd bring it back, and he'd ask me, he'd buy decorations, and he'd ask me, and he said, will you decorate that for me? And I said, yeah, I'll decorate it. And then he would buy gifts and stuff, and when he'd buy gifts, sometimes he'd buy them, like I was saying, them little big packets that, like Wrigley's chewing gum, they be in them big packs. He would sometimes buy those and ask me to wrap them up. And I used to think, that's a little bitty gift, but to him it was like, he thought about you enough to buy you a gift. And I thought, well, I would be glad to get this, because I like chewing gum. But that's what he would buy, and he'd always ask me to decorate or wrap that little, gifts. He had more than that to wrap. And to me, that's what I mostly remember. Azazulat ma umalga muina ambuhi ma alhi mama azagih zero amedal hangi umalga fully mungaru arigo nagih zero. And I was saying that I wish I still had my grandparents. I wish I still had my mom and dad and the rest of my family. I would be sitting there on the porch just talking to them and just listening to their old times. I just know a few, because we mostly went out and played and stuff, because that's what they told us to do. But the time they did spend with us, that's what we did. I'd go fishing, go look for a Christmas tree, and that's how we all grew up and they told us to respect people, mind your manners, and humbahaniat mo uhlegira uhligunat bumuhlezigunaat dakfiles humba chimahis mo bugezagiruimats. And what I was saying is when we would eat too and we didn't have enough chairs, they used to tell us, stand up and eat, it's good for you, it'll make you grow tall. That's what they used to tell us. And muinak sogi agiflezat fully mungorori hayuat hayui haram imbuna agai gon muira zagifleziro. And that's what I was saying, that if they were still here, I would spend more time just sitting there talking to them. And I wish I would have did that, but as kids, you know, we just were out playing and we didn't think about stuff like that. So hayuat azulagi fully mungaro na zinaham kagi imbona aget fulduagatsa. And what I said was, if you still have your elders, you go out there and speak to them, because you know they have unagawama uzagirui and muimbona akzat nhilagi. It'll make them feel good, and they probably like that too, just sitting there just talking to them, because we were kids, you know, like I said, we were out playing, but it's like I would give anything to sit there on my porch and talk to them once again. Maro ayun zimunayaga and stungot for iazais for lagati maro haram zigeze. And I said, I thank you. And I said, you all take care of yourselves. And I said, thank you. Maro.